Hey, welcome everybody. We're back for another week of the Show Me Reptiles Show podcast here. And this is, I believe, episode 22. We got Mickey and we got a special guest with us this week. We're going to start bringing in some more of our team, introduce you to some of our coordinators. This week we've got Blake with us. Blake, how's it going?
Hey, Brady, it's not going too bad. I am bracing myself to head back out on the road for another show this weekend, so you gotta love that downtime.
Now, which one are you headed to this weekend?
So this weekend I'm not going far. I'm headed out to Blue Springs.
Hey,
So,
that's far enough. Just
oh
on
yeah,
all the way on the other side of the state.
exactly. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. 4 hours beats 12 any day. So
12's rookie numbers. Mickey, what'd you just drive?
25.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. He does it to himself at this point. So
I enjoy the solitude.
I mean,
yes,
you
sir.
pounded out the miles yesterday, man. What did you drive? Like 18 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, I drove a bunch yesterday and then I stopped and I slept for about 45 minutes and then I drove some more.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Mickey is out in Utah, heading out to our Farmington, Utah show, which is right out there between Ogden and Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes north of Salt Lake City. Not too bad. It's pretty nice up here.
It's a beautiful part of the country, especially this time of year.
No.
Oh,
One of these
yeah.
days, I'll need to go back out there with you, Mickey, because that was a blast. Seeing that, I
It's a
forget what
good
that
time.
trail we went on. Yeah,
Oh, when I took you up
but
to Antelope State Park?
yeah, that was it. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite places. I go visit that every time I'm up here.
Well, so
I love it.
you'll need to take some pictures when you go see it this week,
Yeah, I'm going up there in the morning. I'll take pictures.
as you should.
And Blake, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Obviously, people haven't met you on the podcast yet. Tell them a little bit
Yeah,
about yourself, how long you've been with Show Me, and your history with reptiles.
I got you. So I've been a full time coordinator for about roughly a year now. I've already lost count of how many shows I've been to because it's just about every weekend I'm in a different state. Um, but no, it's been a blast. I always love meeting new people, especially new vendors, getting them into the industry or the show side of things and seeing their excitement. I had some vendors this last week in Loveland, Colorado. That this was their first show they've ever worked, and the only reason they were there was to downsize their collection. At the end of the show, not even in the end, but halfway through the show, they're like, "Yeah, we're already thinking about what we're going to be breeding next because we're doing this. We love this."
Well,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, I love getting that feedback.
Reignite their passion.
Exactly. Let's say, and before Show Me, I was pretty boring in terms of reptiles. I had a crested gecko whose name is originally was Mr. Nubs, and then I found out it was a Mrs. Nubs. Um, and she's still with me today. I had a bearded dragon that I had no idea how to care for, so poor guy ended up getting rehomed. But now I feel like I could definitely take on a bearded dragon and give it the care it needs. But yeah, no, I was a pretty just hobbyist owner and collector. It wasn't anything crazy. It's not like I had any breeding projects going on. Now, me and Emma are looking at breeding Tokays, which we're waiting for our patternless male to get a little bit bigger, and then we're going to try our hand at that. Um, yeah,
You
now we
just
got to
you must have a fetish for being bitten.
listen. She's the one that brings him home. She's the one that loves Tokays. I've just gotten to the point that I'm like, you know what? I've been bit by some pretty big old Tokays, so the little ones aren't as bad anymore. Might look gruesome. My finger's still healing from the one in El Paso, but it's one of those things that I've gotten used to. I think she likes to see me hurt. I don't know. That we might have to take that up with her at some point. But
It's funny with Tokays. I don't know a lot about the breeding, but
yeah,
a friend of mine, well, Mickey, Karen Caution, that used to do all the chameleons. She
Yeah.
has some huge Tokays that she has just set up bioactive, and I
yeah.
swear, the more she leaves them alone, the more they make babies.
She
Oh,
actually brought
Literally, the
some
less.
of those to my store in St. Peter's. She she brought a pair of those or a trio of those to and they're huge. And that's how I breed my
yeah,
Tokay geckos. I just put them together and leave them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the really cool thing about Tokays, because of course I picked up more and more Tokay fun facts and knowledge with Emma's love for them. But Tokays are very like family oriented. You know, like they don't want to mess with us, but once they have a mate, that's their mate. Once they have kids, they actually make sure their kids are raised up and aren't just thrown to the wolves. Like, very cool and not seen a lot in the reptile industry, or like just reptiles as a whole.
Yeah, I'm the same way with like that's why I like monkey tail skinks have always been like on my wish list because they're like that too. The fact that they live communally and they actually will care about and raise the young.
100%.
Like that's just pretty cool.
Oh yeah. No, that's what Tokays. I spent not all of, but a good majority of El Paso educating customers about Tokays, even some vendors, because there was that Tokay I picked up and brought home, and I had him sitting up on the front table with me, and everyone would ask me like, "What's that? Can I hold it?" And I say, "No, but here's some cool facts about Tokays," because they're one of those animals that I feel like they're just very misunderstood. You know, of course they're nippy, they're very territorial and defensive animals, but they're not mean animals, nor are they malicious. They just view us as predators and don't want to get eaten. So it's like, it's again just working with that animal to make sure that they understand that they are not in any danger.
Just wait until you get friendly babies. You're going to be confused when you have friendly ones. You're going to be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Whenever they act like crested geckos.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Well, funny you bring that up. I just saw, what's his name? Dakota Blue Exotics or something like that.
Yeah.
Big time Tokay breeder, which I was fangirling whenever I met him up in our Rhode Island show.
Yeah, Dakota's super cool.
He's a super cool guy. I remember whenever Emma was getting into Tokays way back when, I was watching videos. Whenever she'd be in class, I'd be watching videos on Tokays to be like, okay, what am I getting myself into? And all of the videos I would watch were from him. So it was really cool actually getting to meet him in the flesh, you know, and super cool guy. That being said, I just saw his post, I think it was this morning. You know, it's like when you house, or when you like incubate crested gecko eggs too close to the Tokay eggs, and it's a crested gecko that pops out of the egg with its mouth open, ready to bite. And it cracked me up because, I don't know. Tokays are something, and seeing a crested gecko impersonate a Tokay is just hilarious, in my opinion.
They pack a punch too. They bite hard as well.
Oh, 100%. And that death roll they do, I had no idea that was a thing until I picked up. It was our, I think it was the green-blue head patternless Tokay, or vice versa, blue-green head, whichever one it is. I remember he was so just chillaxed and docile the entire show. It was the last Loveland show I did, not the most recent, but he was just hanging out the entire time. And since I'd gotten him as a Valentine's Day present for Emma and her future breeding project, I was like, you know what? He's been super chill. I'm going to pop his lid to get a better picture for her, right? And that little guy pulled such a fast one on me. The second he heard the lid pop up, he bolted out, jumped off the table, then climbed up the wall, and I grabbed him. He instantly whipped around, bit my finger, and then just death rolled around it, which this day, I still don't really understand how they death rolled, because it wasn't like he just had my finger in his mouth. It's, again, I can't explain Tokay physics. All I know is it hurt like a son of a gun, and there was blood. So
yeah, they just get that spin going. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. Again, I love him to death. That being said, I like I told all of the kids at El Paso and the adults that didn't know what a Tokay was, it's all about knowing how to handle them and expecting that unless this is a Tokay that you have raised from birth and tamed down, which even then, it's kind of a miracle. We've got one of our Tokays we got, you know, really young, and he's definitely the tamest Tokay. That being said, he still bites me every now and then. So it's like...
They have to remind you they're Tokays.
Exactly. Can't forget. That's like, I just tell everyone, I'm like, know how to hold them and expect to get bit regardless. But, I don't know. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Mickey, anything exciting you're looking forward to while you're out there? Any vendors that you looking forward to seeing again in Utah?
Oh, I like seeing Skylar and you know, with Mountain Man, and I like seeing everybody out here. We got a really good group of vendors out here in Utah. Uh, you know, see Victor with Vexotics. We all go out and get Brazilian grill on Saturday night. That's kind of our tradition here in Utah and Boise. We all go out to dinner, and uh no, I'm excited to see everybody. I am touring that new facility uh Friday. So I think we're going to move into a larger building here on the complex, and
Oh, nice.
get try and put on a larger show up here in Farmington in
Yeah,
the fall.
they've been doing a lot of work on that place for literally for like 2 years
Since we've been there.
since we. Yeah,
The building's
new
beautiful though.
building. Yeah, it looked. I saw the pictures, but obviously I haven't seen it in person.
I'll send some pictures off to the group chat tomorrow because I the biggest thing is I don't mind doing the bigger shows if we get the vendor support, because a lot of people do like the bigger shows, and I'm cool with that, but bigger shows comes bigger expenses, so we definitely have to have the vendor support up there for that.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize, we do bigger shows, but we don't bring in like the giant vendor cost with it. When we do a
Yeah,
larger show, we just try to pack in the tables to cover the costs, and we don't turn around and have $400 or $500 booths. We want we want the small breeders to still be able to look at it and say, I would love to do that big show.
yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be good. I'm gonna look at that venue on Friday, and then I'm gonna have a talk with all the breeders up here to kind of spread the word to the other folks in the area, and uh, maybe after
Yeah, it'd be nice
maybe
if we can get
do some
a
growing.
couple folks on the ground there to help us grow it.
Oh yeah, we do. So we've got a street team out here that does the signs and the banners and everything like that for us, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so some exciting news about the westward expansion then. So we've got 3 shows in the Pacific Northwest now, with Medford, Oregon, Eugene, and Bellingham, Washington.
Yeah.
And then how about the one we just signed yesterday?
Oh, New Mexico. Yeah, I'm super excited about that one.
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico is going to be October. I believe it's 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
And you said that, New Mexico doesn't have much in the way of reptile shows. It's been a long time since they've had anybody putting shows on out there.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's been 20 years or 30 years. I don't know. I've heard a couple different numbers, but it's been a long time since they've had a reptile show. So I'm super excited to take a reptile expo back to New Mexico, and probably won't be too much longer. There'll be 3 or 4 other promotions following us in there. So
Yeah, the nice thing too, though, is like it gets us. We every time we go a little bit further west, we start meeting new vendors, and that's the beautiful thing is to start, bringing in, and molding the ones that we already have with some of those folks further west. So, New Mexico gets us out there to where we may start seeing some of those Southern California breeders start coming in.
well, we have like some Southern California breeders that come up to our Boise show and stuff like that. Like, I've already been, like Victor with Vexotics.
Yeah.
He drives from Southern California to hit our shows like up here in Salt Lake and Boise and stuff.
Man, that Boise show, that thing is happening.
No.
Yeah, it's a fun
I'm
one.
so excited that I finally get to do Boise with you, Mickey. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's like one of our best attended shows.
Yeah, we see like 10. The last 2 years in February, we've seen right over 10,000 people through the door. So I mean, it's been
that's awesome.
a pretty good area for us.
Yeah, who knew that the middle of Idaho was the hotspot for reptiles?
People really like them, and the cool thing about it is in some of these newer areas, you know, people are really educated. People are taking the time to get to know about the animals and their husbandry and everything like that before
Yeah.
they're purchasing the animals. So I've been saying this for the last couple of years. We're seeing a lot more educated people coming into the hobby, and it's great. Because it used to be, uh, you get Tom comes over to a reptile show he's never been to before, and Tom can barely read, and Tom's walking out the door with 12 animals that he doesn't know how to take care of. And
Right, and then when he gets home, he asks what he's supposed to put him in.
right, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's been really cool. I mean, Blake, you could probably touch on that. I mean, you've been around for a year now, so you could probably
Yeah.
talk about some of the changes that you've seen with vendors and then reptile keepers in general.
Oh yeah. Well, even a year ago when I first started, the number of people I saw just buying reptiles and leaving, and without talking to the vendor, talking to, I don't know, whenever we have our dry goods there, talking to the people that know about the animals, they would just buy it, be like, well, I saw something online that says I can put it in a box, so I'm just gonna go put it in a box, and then they leave, right? But the number of customers, even within the past few months, that I've talked to, and I'd be like, all right, so what are we getting? Because I love to go and help the vendors out, but also get the vibes going at the show. Be like, all right, so what are we looking for? What are we getting? What's happening? And like, I'm not getting anything. I love looking at stuff, but I don't want to just buy it and then not be properly set up for it. Which I know that doesn't help our vendors all that much, but it's like I love seeing that. I love people wanting to learn more and wanting to ask questions before they find their new forever friend. And like, I had one gentleman, which actually gave him my number, and he's been texting me updates and all this jazz. He came into El Paso, and he wanted to get a snake, but he didn't want to just impulse buy a snake, or he didn't want to buy a snake without having the stuff to set it up, or this or that. So I spent a good hour or two here and there throughout Saturday talking to him and telling him what he would need. I was taking him to different vendors' tables and explaining like what are the pros and cons of each snake, and like what you would need for each specific snake. I gave him some resources to check out, and he ended up texting me Sunday morning and being like, hey, so I took your advice. I went and I bought this and this and this and this and this for the snake. I think I want to come back and buy a snake, but I don't want. He's like, what are your thoughts? I don't want to impulse buy it. And I was like, well, it sounds like you've done the research. You obviously care enough to continue doing the research. And the people you're going to buy a snake from, I know they will set you up correctly, and they will give you their information and like all that jazz. So he came back and he bought a snake, and he's been sending me pictures of the setup. He's been texting me about updates on his new friend, and I love it. It genuinely makes me so happy.
And long term, that's what we want to have happen.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, the vendor would love to sell 20 snakes in a day.
100%.
But it'd be much better for them if they can sell 10, and those people are educated and come back the next time and buy another one.
Yeah, and that is why I always harp on all of our customers that I talk to, and even the vendors. I always tell people to get each other's information. If you're buying whatever reptile or whatever thing you are buying, if it is a living creature, get the information of the breeder.
Yeah.
Because then if you have questions, they can answer that. If you end up running into, God forbid, any problems, you have their information. You can reach back out. Like, just get their information. It always saves everybody in the long run.
Well, that aftercare is very important.
Can happen.
That's very important. And even when I was breeding animals a lot and vending shows, like I would 10 out of 10 rather see somebody leave with one of my animals that I produced and be prepared and know how to take care of it.
Yeah. 100%.
Before just sending out an empty sale, like, yeah, I mean, that's cool. I sold an animal, but if I don't take the time to educate somebody and make sure that they're properly setting it up, I'm setting the new keeper up for failure. I'm setting that animal up for failure, and that's an animal that, I might have produced generations from that bloodline or whatever,
Yeah,
so I feel kind of a connection with that animal. So I want to make sure it's okay because it's
yeah.
like one of my kids going to live somewhere else.
Oh, 100%. Well, I was about to say, that's why, not to sing the praises of our vendors, but it's like, I don't know, animal safety is one of our number one concerns. We want to put on a good show that is educational and safe for customers and animals alike. We don't want to send animals to a home that they're not going to get cared for or anything like that. And I feel like a lot, if not all of our vendors, agree with that message. They hear it and they abide by it. And the number of vendors in the past 2 weeks that I've been like, this is what we want to see. This is the, like, I'll be talking about the customers. I'll bring customers over to their tables because I'm like, I know these vendors, our vendors are going to treat you right. They're going to give you the information you need. They're going to give you their information. And they're just, you're going to get a healthy animal. So I love seeing that at our shows. And I feel like the quality and just the bottom line, like the expectations have been raised so much that it's better for everybody. And that's what I
Just the
want to keep
culture
pushing
we've all
and
created,
acknowledging. And yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if
I
an
said
animal
we
goes
can
home
all,
and it doesn't thrive, it's
yeah,
bad all around. The
yeah,
person's not going to like reptiles anymore. They're not going to get
yeah,
another one. They're not coming
yeah,
back to our shows. It's just a
yeah,
bad taste all around. So
exactly.
that education is
Mhm.
a crucial part of it.
Oh,
So
100%,
so
100%.
so Blake, you want to talk about what it's like to be a coordinator for the Show Me Reptile Show? America's largest reptile expo chain.
I would 100%. I would love to. So I'm just going to lead with the honor that comes with being a part of something like this, because there's nothing else like it. If I'm being honest with you, as you said, it is the largest like reptile promotion there is. We are officially coast to coast, and nobody is doing what we are doing to the extent that we are doing it. It's a lot of fun. Even on the mishaps or the man, this weekend was a bummer, it's still an adventure every single time. Because as I was saying earlier, I'm in a different state every weekend, and even when there are the bad times, which don't get it twisted, are not often, because this is seriously, it's an amazing job. I get to go work with exotic animals and meet people all over the country. You can't do much better than that. But
The
it's like even
circus.
whenever there are the bad times, it's still an adventure. Yeah, like it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and the fact that every weekend is something new is, I don't know, you can't get that anywhere else, or at least nowhere is fun. So
Yeah, it definitely beats the hell out of a 9 to 5 cubicle job.
oh, 100%. As someone who used to be a manager in a retail store, I'll take this over it any day, any day.
You
All
might get
right. So,
bitten more in this, but
what was that?
I said you might get bitten more doing this than the retail
Yeah,
job. But
I mean, I didn't see as many Tokays working retail, but
I don't know.
who
I'll
knows?
take a
That might be a
Tokay.
bad thing.
I'll take Tokays over Karens.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But no, being a coordinator, seriously, it's not something I saw myself doing, even a couple of years ago. But it's been nothing but a blast and like
Now,
just an amazing adventure.
now, Blake,
So,
didn't you meet the love of your life at a Show Me Reptile Show?
huh. So not at a Show Me Reptile Show, but because of a Show Me Reptile Show. So this was, oh, I'm so happy I get to gush about this lady. So this was when I was working retail in Columbia, and I was at the mall working my hellish job, and this crazy gal who was going to school in Warrensburg, an hour and a half away from Columbia, and spending her summers in Wentzville, an hour and a half in the other direction from Columbia. She loved Show Me Reptiles. She would follow all of the Missouri shows, and she was even more of a reptile geek than I was. So if there was a Missouri show, she would be there, right? So our lovely Columbia Mo Expo was in town, so she was there with a couple of her buddies, and they after the show they're like, well, I feel like we should do something while we're here. Let's go to the mall. and she just happens to walk into my store, and there I am, and just witnessing the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I was genuinely starstruck. I was like, I don't know who she is, but I need to go talk to her. So I finally work up the courage and go and tell her that she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And then I panicked because she smiled, and I just lost all of my thoughts. There was nothing there. So I was like, all right, well, you have a good day. And I just went about my business, praying that she would come up and buy something so I could talk to her again. And she ended up coming up to the register, which I found out later was to just talk to me again. But I worked up the courage, asked her if I could give her my number, and then we instantly hit it off. Like, it was seriously such a chance meeting because we were not remotely close to each other in terms of just where we were living at the time. And yeah, the only reason we met was because of Show Me. So whenever she started working for the company and started doing dry goods, and then I got the offer, I was like, you know what? Might as well make sure we're truly the Show Me love story. Which, don't worry, the team will be getting a wedding invite whenever we actually pick a date.
And on a good note, we need more coordinators. So if you're looking for the love of your life,
exactly,
you should contact us about being a coordinator for Show Me Reptiles shows.
Exactly. Yeah, listen, I will brag about this lady and our experience, our meet cute, if you will. And yeah, you don't find that anywhere else except for Show Me, so you might as well give it a shot. Beats
Mickey,
Tinder.
Are we looking for just part times at this point, or?
Yeah, just part-time coordinators.
Yeah, so weekends. So it's kind of nice if you have you have a weekday job and your weekends are typically free. It's a great opportunity, especially if you're flexible and you can take a Friday off here and there for the longer trips.
Which, while we're advertising for more coordinators, I just want to say, you would get to work with me. You can't go wrong. I like to hear that I'm a fun guy to spend 12 to 15 hours in the car with. So, just saying.
Yep, and honestly, our whole team, I mean, we've got a lot of fun people, a lot of different mixes and personalities.
I mean, I guess the rest of them are all right too, but I was trying to hype myself
nothing
up.
lives up to Blake, but I mean, they try.
Exactly. Good thing Scott's not here. He'd say he's the best.
Nah, Scott's old news. All right, this is the age of Blake.
Scott's the old bull.
Exactly.
We're in the Blake era.
Oh yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I've had a vendor complaint, customer complaint, anything of the sort. So
you haven't. You do a great job.
I put on a good show.
You do a great job. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, cute. Mickey, you better stop. I will start blushing on camera. All right.
You already are, sweetheart. You're blushing.
It's my AC is out. You bear with me, all right?
So, Mickey, kind of some big news. I know we don't have all the details available yet, but for the people that don't know, we're creating an app. And have a Show Me Reptiles app so we can kind of tie all this stuff together instead of just websites.
Yeah, we'll have a ticket in the first phase of it. We'll have ticket purchasing on the app. We'll have the Show Me Marketplace on the app, and the marketplace, the app version of it's going to be totally different than the website. So we're hoping to get more functions in there and stuff like that. And then we've got another couple surprises on the app that we're not talking about just yet that are going to be rolling out. But I really think it's going to help a lot of people.
One-stop shop for all your Show Me needs.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we were talking about it the other day, it's like, it's really cool because like somebody that's like breeding reptiles and trying to do this for a living, like they could really almost run their whole business off of this app, pretty much, like as far as making sales and stuff like that. So it's going to be cool. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to help a lot with it's going to help a lot with the whole integration. What we were hoping for with Marketplace is to really blend, you know, the shows and get the vendors and the attendees together in between shows so that they can stay in contact, organize pre-show sales, you know, find out what people are bringing to the shows, and they, you know, they're both there, they're both doing their thing, but they just haven't quite melded together like they will with the app. It'll all be in one place. So much nicer
I
for
think
people
the
to be
app's
able
going
to
to
just one
finally
click.
bridge that gap, you know? So it's going to be cool. It's way better than the $300 app that I had made years ago that I still have on my phone. I basically paid for a shortcut to the website.
No, I've been hyping everybody up for this app because I know it's been in the works for some time now, but I'm so personally excited, and I think it's going to be a whole game changer once it comes out. So
what? I've been really excited about a lot of the new things that we've been implementing over the last year and a half. You know, we've totally changed the way that we do shows, and there's still a lot more to come too. You know, we just keep reinvesting into you know the technology and the people. You know, I mean, you guys are getting a lot of training. I mean, we're getting ready to do our weekly team meeting after this, so we're putting a lot of effort into it, and I appreciate everybody on the team. So it's super cool. Super fun.
Other exciting things on the horizon. It's been a little while now since we announced that we've got the big Nashville show coming at the Opryland Resort, and vendors are starting to sign up big time for that. I think we're already up over 40 vendors that have reserved and paid their spot, and that I went and looked at the images and some of the videos of that place, and it is phenomenal and humongous.
Yeah,
they have a river that goes through it.
So as I was doing my office work earlier today, I was seeing all of the new daily signups for that Opryland show. It's insane. I think the hype is there, and it's going to live up to the hype. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, what do we have for total square footage there? Do we know, Mickey?
I don't remember. I think we can do like a 300 table show there or something like that. So
yeah,
you know, and that'll be good for that area because we used to do 350, 400 tables over in Lebanon, and you know sometimes too many tables is just too many tables at a show. It really kind of waters down the customer base and stuff. So I think 250 to 300 tables will be just right for that, you know.
Yeah, and that's a nice option for people if they want to add a couple days on one end or the other and make a vacation out of it.
Well, speaking of vacations, don't forget don't count Virginia Beach out too. Virginia Beach is, you know, the first weekend of August.
Yeah.
I would say Virginia Beach is one of those shows that I keep reminding people about because I'm not going to let you forget. I'm not going to let the customers forget, the vendors forget. I know I keep saying this, but I'm so very excited for that show. Hence another reason why I love being a coordinator, seeing all these beautiful places that I probably wouldn't go see unless I had a reason to go there. So it's like, no, I've been talking to even vendors in Missouri and be like, all right, so you're going to do this Virginia Beach show with me? You're going to come out and have a little vacay? Because this is going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
I'm waiting for the waiting for the coordinators to start fighting over who gets to do those Pacific Northwest shows.
Oh, dibs.
Yeah. I'll let it slide this once, and then I'm gonna be calling dibs. All right.
Washington, Oregon, that part of the country is just beautiful.
I want to see Oregon, and I'm still wanting to go see Maine because that's just got to go see the lighthouse, Mickey.
I know we got ripped off. I was so upset.
Yeah.
I'll probably go up there and get those shows kicked off up in the Pacific Northwest. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Hey, you can just take me. We'll kick them off on a right note, you know.
Yeah, we'll drop kick them. We'll drop kick them off.
Hey, I didn't specify what type of kick, so that works.
Go a day early and go whale watching, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be down to go
See some
whales.
orcas.
If I can just see some lighthouses too.
I think they have lighthouses over there. I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's like Kansas has windmills. Any part on the coast has lighthouses. But I'm also not a coast connoisseur, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the things you will see, like the Dr. Seuss book.
Hey, that's my favorite book. You know me, I'm fairly illiterate, so being able to read Dr. Seuss, what a guy. True philosopher right there. There's something about red fish, blue fish. Like, who thinks of that,
His brain was fried.
Yeah. Somebody that went above and beyond microdosing.
Yeah. He's like, hear me out. There were not one, but 2 fish. All right? Stay with me.
No, but if your eggs are green,
So
Yeah.
I was
He's
so I
like,
was
"What
huffing
do you
ether,
have?
and I came up with an idea for a children's book.
Hear me out. Boys' night idea. All right?
Right. Let's eat some green eggs and ham.
Exactly. Might need to call a doctor, but minor detail.
Yeah, nobody
It's
cares.
not quite as exciting as going to New Mexico or the coasts, but we did add a show here in St. Louis on the east side now too, over on the Illinois side.
Yeah, Belleville. Yeah,
So
yeah. I know. Some
so
people are a little nervous about that, but it'll be good. It'll be good. I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is vendors are the majority of the people that are traveling for shows anymore. The customer base just isn't traveling like that.
Yeah, and people don't realize there's a lot of population over there on the Illinois side of St. Louis.
Yeah,
Bellevue, Fairview Heights, Edwardsville. I mean, all of that over there, and those people don't make the trip over to our Bridgeton show. Unfortunately, it's just it's an hour and 10-minute drive for them.
Yeah.
But so it'll be nice to put one over there on that side, and it's not a big deal for the vendors to take a 45-minute or hour trip over there to set up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited about it. I've always wanted to kind of put a show over there and see how it goes. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
But I guess we need to wrap this up and get ready for our meeting.
Yeah. Yep, get ready for our team meeting. So, Blake, we appreciate you joining. I'm sure we'll have you back on again soon. Our goal is to bring more of the team members in and start introducing everybody to the whole show.
Right on. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me tag along. I look forward to the next one. Now I'm just going to get ready for my next show.
All right, guys. Have amazing shows this weekend. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
See you next week, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Show Me Reptiles Show podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave us a comment, and tune in for more amazing reptile content soon. Until next time, stay curious, love your animals, and respect one another.